Born ready.
G'day guys, welcome to another episode of the Tech Effect. I'm Tecman CoMAN. Beside me, as always, is Mark, the bearded tech Skehan.
Yay! Crowd goes well, huh, mate?
Always go well for you.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if it's the beard, the hat, I don't know what you just...
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Just ask me, I will tell you.
So first of all,
I've got nothing there.
we need to start with a word from our sponsors. Okay, welcome back.
Welcome back. Okay, all right.
Where were we?
Pete.
Yes.
Last episode.
Yes.
We were talking about. You were asking me about K to 12.
Correct.
And
in particular.
In particular, what the items of K to 12. And I right at the end, before the to be continued.
Yes.
I flicked it back to you and said, yeah. Actually, you were asking me. Where do I think it's going to be in the next 5 years?
Yes.
So, to which I said to you, we're very driven and determined by what's happening in tertiary.
Yes.
So, I flicked it back to you and said, you tell me, what's happening now in the tertiary world and where do you think it's going to be? And then we'll do the crystal ball thing. I don't know how much you love crystal balling.
Did you see my crystal ball?
I saw your crystal ball. I've seen his crystal ball.
Yes.
Ball.
Ball. One L. Singular.
Two L's. No S.
Well, look, okay. In all seriousness.
That's pretty hard to be when it's us.
Look, in all seriousness, obviously in the tertiary market, they've got more money to spend typically. So they can do more elaborate systems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
in the past, they've used technology such as HD-based T for their transportation.
Yeah.
But now, so universities typically have very good network infrastructure.
Yeah, and they've got big teams as well.
And they have big IT teams, right? So in the past, so going back 2011-ish, somewhere around there, we used to have the AV team and the IT team.
Yeah.
Two totally separate departments.
Didn't talk to each other?
Not really.
No.
Only when
they wanted an IP address.
Well, not even back then. They weren't really on the network.
Yeah, right. Sure.
So, so I suppose the only time they really spoke to each other was the staff Christmas party.
Yeah,
probably.
right.
Yeah. Even then, that's probably debatable.
Yeah.
But back about that time,
that was pre-convergence.
Pre-convergence. That's right. But at about that time, we started seeing the AV team being absorbed into the IT team.
Yeah.
Right? So the AV guys came in under the IT guys, right?
Yeah.
And that happened over about 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find that most universities, if not all universities now, are structured in that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a result, there's
K to 12 is very much the same now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
very
okay.
much.
I didn't realise.
They certainly very much work under the banner of IT or the management of IT.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Well, and as a result, there's a lot more IT thinking to resolving problems or providing solutions.
Yeah.
So therefore, the IT team is looking at it going, well, hang on, we have all this, we've spent
market loads, lots.
Shiploads.
Ship with a P?
Yeah, with P, shiploads of time and money developing their networks.
Yeah.
Okay,
The infrastructure is
the
pretty solid.
Correct. The switching that they put in, the cabling infrastructure, the fibre infrastructure, all of that, spend a lot of money doing it.
And done to a pretty high standard.
Very high standard. Well, and that's the other thing, right? So there's in AV world, typically there's no standards out there, unfortunately.
We're working on it.
That's another topic too, by the way.
Yeah,
standards. Oh my God. How long have we got?
You need to raise yours, by the way.
Yeah. Hot calling the kettle black right there, isn't it? Yeah, thanks, mate. So there is standards in IT world. You see? And that's the thing. And so what's happening is the IT team are going, well, we should utilise this infrastructure. Fair enough. So we're starting to see AV over IP solutions being deployed more and more.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it used to be a case of the reason most rooms, or if not all rooms in tertiary higher education, were all standalone as far as AV is concerned. And you'd say, why? It's not the most efficient way to do this. Right, having every single room stand alone. And the answer you would always get when you would ask the AV managers, why are you doing it this way? They said it's for redundancy. So if there's a problem with the equipment, it takes one room down, not the whole floor.
Yeah.
Right? If you centralise it, sure, much more efficient, but one problem could take multiple rooms out. So I get that, right? So I totally understand. But once again,
the point's still valid to some degree. It's still valid.
Absolutely, no, totally agree. Personally, I think you need to have a hybrid system. Some room in the equipment.
Standalone. Yours, what yours?
Some equipment in the room.
Yeah.
Right.
So standalone.
Yeah, but let's say it's hybrid, right? So parts of it need to push out onto the network, right? Sure. Because you might have overflow rooms. You might want to stream to another campus or another building.
Yep.
Okay. But you still want to do some sort of switching locally.
Yeah.
Okay. Like at the lectern, if there's a lectern, because they're getting rid of a lot of lecterns these days. But if there is, you might have a laptop, you might have a document camera, some a PC that's in the room. Typically, you want to switch between those devices, okay? Rather than have an encoder for every single device, send it all the way back to the comms room, only to send it all the way back again. I mean, that's just inefficient. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think some sort of hybrid model, so not a completely standalone, but where required, push it out and utilise the network as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think
it comes with its challenges.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Bandwidth is a huge challenge.
The higher the reds we want. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're seeing, so that comes back to that network infrastructure.
Yeah.
All right, so some solution, AV over IP solutions out there, 10 gig, some are 1 gig.
Yeah.
Different flavours, horses.
We could have a debate for days on which is the best, and maybe we'll call Jerry Wilkins in one day and try his chili jam.
Hey, that's a dare. That's a physical challenge.
If you're watching, Jerry, you heard it here.
He emailed me today.
Did he?
Yeah, he wants to catch up.
Oh, no.
I think he only wants to catch up because he wants to see you eat chili jam.
You think he's got his wife to make the hottest chili jam she can find, or something. I don't know.
We will.
I've been eating chili. I've been eating chilies for days, trying to get my chiliness, whatever you call that.
You get your taste buds ready.
Yeah. I have no taste buds left by the end of it.
But absolutely, but.
All right. So, AV over IP, reliance on network infrastructure.
Yes.
What about this concept of the digital canvas and a big working space? And you see Gary Kay talks about this a lot, right? Over the last 12 or 18 months, he's talked about using, because we've got higher res now, so we can use this space a lot more efficiently for multiple things.
Yes. Yep.
Are you seeing that happening? Is that an education that we need to educate the market?
We're starting to see more of it, but not. It hasn't been a huge take up.
Yeah.
Right? So we have the ability. The technology is there to do all that, right? But we're just not seeing.
Well, Epson's latest projector, that
correct
ultra widescreen thingy that we saw.
Actually, does can do 4 images, 4 concurrent images.
Can you size that accordingly? So you could have 3 small. It's 4. Okay.
Yeah. It's a fixed quad split.
Yeah.
We're also seeing a lot of the 4K panels, even 8K panels doing quad split natively, so no extra boxes for processing required. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
I would argue, I think, and you tell me your opinion, but I would argue that I think over the next 5 years, we're crystal balling this right now. Where is your crystal ball? It's not here.
Must have left it at home.
That a lot of our world is going to be determined by or driven by software.
100%.
I see, like, you look at the Varco We Connect, I think it is, which is basically a NUC.
Yes.
With the nice, beautiful Barco colours. The new Biamp crowd mic.
Correct.
Looks like a
Yeah.
NUC in Biamp colours.
Yeah.
And so really just...
Unite?
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everything's going to be software driven by this. Maybe it's very much one box that can do it all.
Well, it's a PC.
Yeah.
Well, you look at soft codecs. Look at Zoom, Skype for Business, WebEx.
It is the codec.
It's a PC.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's why you may have heard me in the past talk about the only manufacturers that I believe are going to survive in our industry, our pro AV space, we're always going to need screens, we're always going to need speakers, we're always going to need microphones, and we're always going to need cameras.
Yeah.
4, right?
Yeah.
The transportation, gone. Network. You already got a network there, right?
Yeah.
The control, well, you know, I mean, there is voice, absolutely, 100%. You know how much
you
of
love
an advocate I am for voice.
his own voice.
My own, yeah. That's the only reason I do these videos with you, so I can hear
Let's
myself.
not go there today on the conversation with that.
But also, like Google, Amazon, all these companies, free control, cloud-based control, all of that. So suddenly we don't have processors in the room.
Yeah.
We don't have, it's on the network. We're in the cloud.
We're in that little box.
In that little box. But that's the thing. And DSPs, same thing, running off a PC. Already seen QSC have done that for a number of years.
Yeah.
What's a server? Server.
Well, they're running on Linux or they're running Windows. Most of them.
Well, I doubt it. I don't know. I can't remember that.
I think they're probably Linux,
I
wouldn't you?
doubt that it'd be Windows.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with Windows. Microsoft is one of our sponsors.
Crickets.
I wish.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
Just putting it out there, Microsoft.
Exactly. But, and also, you look even our speakers. Like, and we use Dante or AES 67. So you've got speakers on the network. You've got microphones on the network. The cameras are on the network. The controls on the network. We're streaming the network. The network is the epicenter.
Yeah. So currently the copper guys are pretty happy, but just all that requires more and more and more bandwidth.
Absolutely.
So, fibre's, the need for fibre going forward.
Yeah, but I mean, I would argue that until we start getting up into these 8K resolutions, like, you must admit, I don't know, have you seen much of an uptake in your world with 4K?
No.
It's probably
Just
been more
no.
of a forced uptake because the manufacturers are only doing 4K products.
Yeah.
It's not because it's not client driven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and sure, we've got some we've got some clients who have some specific applications who want to use 4K, but they're few and far between.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still seeing 1280 by 800 and trying to get them to WUX to 1920 by 1080. So that's panels are. Well, that's the other thing to ask. That where panels are and do they have their spot in tertiary? But certainly seeing the panels obviously are 4K. There's barely any. I suppose video wall panels are still running mostly at 1080, aren't they?
Correct. Yeah. They're not 4K.
Yeah.
Well, not that the ones that we've dealt with are all 1080.
Yeah, but individually, into spaces, learning spaces, are you seeing panels on trolleys?
And that's a funny thing about the markets that we work with, right? So, what I see, not that we really do a lot of work in that K to 12 space, but what we see is lots of large screens on trolleys. That's what we see.
Yeah.
We don't see that in the AV world. Right? We still see a lot of projections. So we use laser projectors, so Austin Powers thing. Right? So lots of laser projectors around. Sure, there is some screens that have been put up on the walls as supplementary.
Yeah.
For
confidence monitors and different things like that.
Things like that. But we're certainly not seeing the same kind of rollout that what I've seen.
Size is still everything in big electro spaces,
as they say.
Yeah. as like.
We're not going there. Not going to touch that one.
So lecture theatres, because most of your lecture theatres in a tertiary space are 100 seaters. Do they get much smaller than that? Do you get rooms smaller than that?
Not in a lecture theatre. Like, look, we've worked in some spaces that might have been 30, 40 seats.
Yeah,
really
right.
small lecture theatres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, we've knocked off 5 years from now? We're kind of
5 years from now.
5 years from now.
Well, like I said,
software.
I just software. So everything is on the network.
Yeah.
Okay. As I said, I still think there needs to be some sort of basic local switching in the room. Okay. No point. We can just switch here. Right? Why send it off and switch it over there on the network and put this extra bandwidth, unnecessary bandwidth on the network?
Yeah.
I don't understand the point of that.
It's kind of doing it for the sake of the new bright shiny object.
It's like everything. we go down this path and we go, oh, let's put everything on the network, and then you
Yeah.
kind of just bring it back a bit. Okay, well, put the things that we need on the
Yeah.
network, put that in
Yeah.
there, and the rest of them we can.
Yeah, I must say, we've just done 2 AV over IP jobs, and they don't come without their complexities.
Of course.
Yeah.
It requires another skill set.
Yeah.
And I think as an industry, we need to get better at that IT space.
Oh,
Right? Because the
yeah.
IT people are the gatekeepers. Right? They're calling the shots, right?
CCNA,
CCNA,
yard,
that's
yep,
it.
yep, we're all getting on it.
That's it. Exactly.
All right,
Yep.
tertiary, done, tick.
Done. Tick.
We could go deeper, and we will, in many shows to come, on all our beliefs and
Not that
opinions. No, just him. Just you.
Just me.
I'm,
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
the
me.
most unopinionated person around. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.